Hi, I'm Nikola Conradie. Welcome to my studio. So this is my Namibian sustainable collection. I decided to add something Namibian just for emphasis on, not only because we're in Africa, but also because this is Namibian, and putting more emphasis on Namibia is ready for sustainable fashion. So this is some cottons, and this is the linen pieces. And then here I have my cotton collection and my linen collection. So the majority of the pieces in my shop is centered around sustainability. So sustainability regarding fashion or in the clothing industry, it's very, it touches on anything that we can do to help the environment. So with the materials used in sustainable fashion, it's natural fabrics. And what I usually do is how I contribute in helping the environment. I do a lot with offcuts. So everything I have here is like offcut fabrics, and I always try to do something out of it also just to help the environment, because where does this go if it's not used? So I have some pieces, all offcuts, that I want to show you what you could make out of it so that it doesn't go to waste or it doesn't end up in a dump somewhere.
Those who know your brand know that like a few years back you already started working with sustainability or being sustainable within, you know, your fashion or with how you make your garments. We just want to know exactly what inspired that, seeing that this was about 2, 3, 4 years ago already.
Well, the environment is very important for me, and I always think if you want to see a change, you have to be the change yourself. So with this, I always thought about, where does the waste go? Like, where does the material go if it's not used? What can I do as a designer or to help the environment? So I always wanted to do that, because I used to watch documentaries of where offcuts go, where it ends up, and most of the time the material you use are not biodegradable. So at least with the natural fabrics, because they're biodegradable, they can be somehow used in the environment, or somehow it can decompose in a way. But most of the material people use are not biodegradable, and they're synthetic, they're not natural. So they can't be, whatever is used cannot be exposed of. It literally ends up damaging, harming the environment. So, and because material that is not natural, they are cheaper, and fast fashion is made out of that material because it's cheap. So you want to try and get more out of like less, basically. And because fast fashion is always like, it's always being renewed because of trends basically. So they just use like material that cannot, because that's the cheapest way out. So that is poisonous to the environment. And nobody thinks about it that way, because everyone just wants to be trendy, or they just want to wear latest things, and that's usually what is made out of non-biodegradable material. So that's why when you are thinking about the environment and how you can give back, and thinking about sustainable and ethical clothing manufacturing, you think about, okay, at least use material that can be decomposed somehow in the environment. If it has to go to waste somehow, it can be used, or it can be broken down.
actually makes cotton sustainable?
Because cotton comes from a plant.
Oh,
Yeah, you've seen those cotton plants.
yeah.
Yeah, and then they just weave it. So now all I did was cut like little rectangle pieces from the scraps, and I'm just going to attach it more like a patchwork. I'm going to attach it together, and then basically creating like a patchwork piece out of the scraps that I had. So I'm just cutting it out, and then I'm attaching it to one another.
So what is the vision for your brand or your fashion line 5 years or 10 years from now?
Well, the plan is for me never to use like material that it cannot be used or eco-friendly, basically. And it's still difficult because our people don't know or are not aware of sustainable fashion. They're not aware of cottons, and especially now, nobody wants to spend so much on clothing, so they'll always find the easy way out, or they'll always want the cheaper alternative, and the cheaper alternative does not include natural fabrics. So the idea is for it to be 100% sustainable. For me not to even compromise on making things if it's not out of synthetic materials or natural materials. So that is the plan. Because if you go green, you don't partially go green, you go green 100% or not at all. So I think once our people are aware of sustainable fashion, and they because I always have people, like the people I do things for, that know about sustainable fashion, they said they'll either, it's like quality over quantity, in a sense, that they would rather have something that they know will last, and even if it doesn't, it's not going to harm the environment, basically. So that is the plan.